Hi Taurus, here is a general look at your solar chart for September 2016. Now, an interesting month, September, astrologically speaking, because there's going to be two eclipses. The first one is a solar eclipse in Virgo at a good angle to your sun sign, and the second one is a lunar eclipse in Pisces, also at a good angle to your sun sign. So that's good news. But this eclipse has got some side effects with it for all of the signs, not particularly for yours. So the eclipse itself, when the sun and the moon come together, that's happening in an area where there can be new beginnings regarding children or partners, anybody that you like to hang out with in a romantic way or in just a fun kind of a way, or maybe it's situations you like to be in which you find are allow you to be unself-conscious, spontaneous, creative as well. So this is a very creative area of your solar chart, and it's the area to do with the child in you, but also the children that you can procreate or have been created by others. And this cycle of this energy of the eclipse will go on for 6 months from the time of the eclipse. So here is an opportunity to improve things and to be uplifted by this area here because of the eclipse happening in that area. Now, during this solar eclipse, the sun and the moon are going to be opposing Neptune and also at right angles to Mars and Saturn. So these are the side effects that I was talking about. Anything that is really close into the degree of the eclipse on the day of the eclipse will get bound up in that eclipse wave and also be pushed through for the subsequent 6 months, and or roughly until the time of the next eclipse, which is happening in late February, solar eclipse. So these are tricky energies, and if I have the energy and the time, I'll make a separate video just about the eclipse. But this is binding together with Saturn-Neptune, which I spoke about last month, if you saw that, and also I think the month before. If you didn't see it, Saturn-Neptune is the energy of uncertainty, the energy of denying us clarity, the energy of, okay, we'll have to see how this goes, because there's not enough information or example or evidence or proof there. The Neptune is in your 11th house of friends and groups, and also what's going on in society at large. And Saturn is in your area of, it's a deep area, it's the area of deep feeling, it's the area to do with agreements or contracts or relationships that were set up maybe in the past. And it's an area where you maybe have interests in common, financial, or to do with possessions or property with another, but also feelings shared. It can be just one of this list, or maybe it's more than one. It depends on you and where you're at. So you slowly become aware over this time frame of what is truly of value. You know, is it a material object, or is it something that you share with somebody on a deep level, or was it, but is it still now? What you thought then, what you felt then, how are you thinking about it or feeling about it now? These sorts of things coming into your mind, and you asking maybe some deeper questions about these things, maybe looking at ditching or tweaking or modifying a previous arrangement, and working, maybe making gradual progress within the parameters of a previous arrangement, but actually trying to find the loophole perhaps. So honoring things to do with agreements or contracts, but also looking for something over which you have more personal control, because the position of Saturn is an area where you can feel coerced, or you can feel as though there's a kind of a power struggle going on there. whether it's in a relationship or in a health situation or in a work situation or any situation actually. And you Taurians born the 28th of April to the 2nd of May with 9 to 12 degrees rising, you're going to feel that energy the most at the moment, but also on either side of those dates. So the current Saturn-Neptune transit, which is going to get caught up into the sort of the maelstrom of this eclipse energy, which of and in itself is, I think, a pretty neutral energy of change, of new beginnings. That'll get pushed on through this 6-month period, even though those two planets will come away from this, these close degrees with each other. But that will be stamped into the energy field at the time of the eclipse, and then the eclipse carries that on through, threads it through until next February. We can say in a general way that it does that. In some cases, depending on where one is and one's own personal chart, eclipse energy can actually push on through a lot further than that. So there is this uncertainty with this energy. Unfortunate to have had this energy around during the time that the UK had to make an important decision about whether to stay in or to leave the EU. Because there was a denial of the clarity. The things weren't laid out in a nice, simple sort of a clear, calm sort of a way. A lot of hearsay, a lot of gossip, and also a lot of knee-jerk reactions to do with the past rather than the issue at hand, which was whether to stay in or to leave the common market, the European Union. Now, in your chart, it might mean that groups or so-called friends or new friends, there can be maybe a buffeting of the energy, maybe influencing you, or maybe you are blind to others who are more genuinely on your side and who are more genuinely being more genuine. There is this sort of dubiousness with Saturn Neptune, and it's difficult to get the clarity. How you can work this is actually because Saturn, or rather Neptune, is in a very good angle to your sun sign, so you get the better side of the Neptune vibration, is to selflessly, be instrumental in a good cause or be a cog in the wheel there, in order to bring about social reform, some kind of change for the better, of course. So those of you born in the few days near a week before the end of the last week of April and the first week of May are likely to feel this eclipse energy the most. That's to say 4 to 15 degrees rising. And yeah, okay. And now just to mention of some other side effects as well, we do have Mercury, Jupiter very close to each other in conjunction on the day of the eclipse in late Virgo, and even though technically they aren't connecting with the eclipse degree, well, they are at a real like wide degree, but that's me stretching a point of it here. They are in the same sign, and this Mercury-Jupiter dynamic is helpful. You, at the time of the eclipse, will have Mercury in a very innovative, outward, playful, actually, area where you can be enjoying distractions or enjoying, the rapport, the sort of the interaction with somebody in fun, playful sorts of ways. It's also the area connected with children, so it might be that you have more to do with children at that time. And you could be more romantically expressive or just hear nice things and feel maybe center of attention in a nice sort of a way, hopefully. So that, along with Jupiter there at the time of the eclipse, might be a very, very positive influence coming along with this eclipse as it goes through into next February. also the eclipse is situated at a good angle to your sun sign as well. Now, for us all, the eclipse energy might mean that, you know, you're getting this information here, but this eclipse energy is going to be around, as all the astrological weather is always around all the time, and people react to it who haven't a clue that this vibration, this weather system is coming through. This is potentially quite aggressive one because of the Mars-Saturn part of it. You know, it might mean that there are people making decisions based on not a lot, which drag the rest of us along. You know, those of us in authority, and drag the rest of us along a little bit, or get us up on the bandwagon or whatever. So it's for your information. It's for you to be aware of and play it as you wish. There is one good thing actually as well, which is really, really strong. Excuse me, which is coming in from late this year, which is the Saturn-Uranus transit, which is going to be coming together and pulling apart, and coming together and pulling apart, as many of these long-term transits do throughout 2017. And that will bring stability. That will bring a consolidatory influence, depending on where it is in your personal chart, but also across the wider stage. So in your personal chart, it will be with your emotions. It will be to do with the past. It will be to do with your deeper feelings on things, and also on the level of relationship and sharing and pooling resources in a relationship. So this is a saving grace really for part of this eclipse energy, because the eclipse energy will start in September, but that transit doesn't come in and start to come in until December. Okay, for other news, there's a really bright, outgoing, extrovert energy around until the 23rd. More emphasis is given to children, youngsters, romantic partners, and a real expanding of your life there is possible anyway. Mercury is playful, and you could be having fun with and more creatively expressive at this time as well. Mercury is retrograde until the 22nd. That might mean that things get slowed down, or there are delays or cancellations or the like. Some people get more affected by the Mercury retrograde than others. More mercurial type people do seem to be affected more by Mercury going retrograde. Until the 24th, your ruling planet Venus is in a very practical mood, highlighting teamwork regarding daily chores and skills, but also health matters. So you might feel supported. You might feel supported with work. You might feel supported with health. You might find that you can have a really quite reasonable interaction with service providers, health providers, and hopefully you get some maintenance, repairs, or remedies as and when you need them, and recovery. And the interaction will tend to be pleasant. And then from the 24th, Venus is very strong. She comes into her own house of the wheel, and that will tend to boost your relationships, your love life, and affairs of the heart are favored. You and someone could be feeling close rapport, and whether that's personal or professional, and you and another could be enjoying each other's company and simply lending each other a hand as well. Mars, until the 27th, is in a sector of your solar chart which is quite deep. It's about clearing the decks for new beginnings. You may feel that there's a lot going on inside of you. There's a lot going on, and some you'll keep quite close to your chest. You won't want to let go of that. You won't want to share that. But this is a time for the situation to come to some sort of resolution, because this is the last time that Mars is going to be transiting through here this year. It's been in this area a lot this year. So time for a rethink, time to ditch some sort of previous setup or standpoint or perspective, time for a detox, time for a spring clean, time for a reset, time for understanding. Is a bit like the potlatch, excuse me, Native American Indians that had this giveaway, and they would give things away, really, really quite precious things at certain times in this ceremony, which then kind of unblocked the path to progress and to better relationships. You could be more sensitive, though. It's easier for somebody to push your buttons, but this is, and possibly even in a good way, because there could be sizzly interchanges and a really deep feeling between you and somebody else. But this is the time that this is the resolution is possible over relationship matters, property matters, material matters, finances and possessions. And then from the 27th, Mars goes into a fantastically outgoing area of your solar chart. It's about travel, it's about getting outside of the box, whatever that means to you, and learning certain things you didn't have a clue about before. And that really does clear stuff up for you, because there's no more of this kind of introspective wondering about things and this inner pressure. Then from the 23rd, you may be dealing with more chores or niggly details, and this may be the moment to get to grips with health issues, yours or another's, or a better diet and exercise regime. That's for 4 weeks. Jupiter moves from this spontaneous, quite creative area to do with leisure activities as well, on the 9th, and starts a year-long transit of your area of health or work. And there'll be no shortage of opportunities to expand and grow and learn an awful lot, and maybe have success, more success in that area there. People being interested in you for your skills, your abilities, being appreciative of you for your contribution. And it's a great time to learn new skills, actually, and to chisel out, you know, those talents of yours into skills. You Taurians born the first few days of the sign, or with up to 6 degrees rising, are going to feel that energy the most. And also in the previous position, Taurians born from the 17th of May, or with from 27 degrees rising, will feel the energy the most of the end of the Jupiter transit in the previous place. And also Saturn, I didn't give you that. It'll be for you Taurians born the 28th of April to the 2nd of May. I did give you that, actually. Or with 9 to 12 degrees rising. And that's just about it for this month. If you know your rising sign or your moon sign, you can listen to those. And also this material is written up on my website, DianaGarland.com. And I'll see you the next time.